Do we want sports betting to be the centerpiece of the future of the sports card hobby? Hell no. No. This video will not be popular for certain hobby companies, but it just needs to be said. Buckle up. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. We are back again. Actually, a double header today. 2 videos today. Something on my brain, something on my mind that I just really wanted to talk about. I think it's important. I've made a video on this a couple of times previously, but I'm going to just keep on pressing on this topic because I just think it is an important one. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. We're coming out with daily sports card collectibles content, and you need it. You need some more sports card content in your life. And you've probably been here and you've watched videos and you're like, you know what? I'm not ready to commit. Come on, join the team. Join the team. Hit the notification bell, the subscribe button, and we will get this show on the road. Also connect with me on IG at SportsCardDad, and I'm also firing off tweets on Twitter on occasion. The SportsCardDad. All right, so we have Fanatics that is taking over the sports card landscape really sooner rather than later, really, doing a lot of nice things, some good things that I really like. So let me preface this conversation with, it's not all bad, and I do think that Fanatics is going to bring some well-needed juice to the hobby. There is one piece of this, though, that I hope that they don't go all in on, and I'm a little bit concerned about. And one thing that kind of got me a little bit more concerned is Michael Rubin had to sell off his share of the 76ers. For those that don't know, Michael Rubin is a CEO of Fanatics. He owned 10% of the Philadelphia 76ers. He's a massive Sixers fan, and he had to sell off his piece. Why? Why would he have to do that? Because Fanatics is moving into the sports betting space, sports gambling space, essentially is what it is. And that's, DraftKings and that sort of stuff. That's what that space is all about, sports betting. Now, if that move is to create a competitor to a DraftKings where it's maybe daily fantasy sports or something like that, then fine. That's kind of its own deal. I understand it. I've done that before. I've done kind of the weekly fantasy football or the daily weekly fantasy football where it's like you enter in for $3, you have a chance to win $10,000. It's kind of fun. I've done that on occasion, and I get it. There's entertainment value there, and it can go up. You have a $1 entry, you have a $5, you have a $50 entry, etc. Great. But where I'm really watching, though, is the breaking space, razzing space within sports cards, kind of the sports betting element of the sports card hobby. I think that we already have a lot of breakers. We already have kind of big name breakers. I personally don't really want to see that particular segment of the hobby really grow out. I do understand that it brings new hobby folks in a lot of instances, but I also think that it brings people in and they just get absolutely smoked on a break and they're like, oh, I don't really, is this how sports cards is? Is this what it is? Okay, well, I don't know if this is really for me. Just buying the packs, because I remember you buy the packs, you get the cards. Now I have to enter a break or I have to buy a $1,500 hobby box. It just seems expensive. And, I think I'm just going to do something else, go into a different hobby. There has not been enough transparency, in my opinion, especially considering the fact that you do have a lot of young people that are watching these breaks, entering into these breaks or razzes or whatever. I hear about it on occasion. I'm thinking like, how is this even possible? But it is possible. And so really my big focus here is young people that don't really know what they're getting into. I'm a 41-year-old man. I understand that if I enter into a break, that I am basically lighting my money on fire for the most part. The odds of me getting my money back, especially with kind of today's products, the way that they're being produced, is slim to none. It's the entertainment value. And so if a break is giving you that entertainment value, then fantastic. But the piece that I think is just lost in here that we don't have is we don't have enough information about the specific products. A lot of times breakers don't know anything about the product that they're breaking. There's not enough transparency around what are the pack odds, what are the hits, what exactly is the print run. Now, again, this is something that current companies are not doing. Fanatics has done some of this with their Zero Cool stuff. They've put out the actual print run. I really, really hope that moving forward, there is an idea of print runs. And maybe it's not. Maybe they do have products or a few products where they're like, like, hey, look, we're printing this to the moon. Just so you all know, as collectors / speculators / investors, this is going to be printed to eternity. We're just going to run this thing until the machine breaks. And then they have, a bunch of other products where you do know print runs and you can make kind of educated decisions on if you want to get into a break, buy a box, buy singles of that particular product. So right now, I just feel like a lot of people enter into breaks just flying blind, don't have an idea in the world of what the odds are of a hit. I mean, hell, you may as well just be buying lottery tickets. If you don't know exactly what the hits are, you don't know what the pack odds are. And I think that there should just be more disclaimers on this stuff. The marketing is all centered around hitting the logo man or hitting this card or that card or whatever. And there really should be more talk. I think just more responsible talk. I know that this isn't great for marketing because it's kind of, oh, you're putting a damper on a fun time. Well, I don't have a fun time losing all my money. And so I would like to know a little bit more about the product. I'd like to know my chances. I just like to have more information. And I just think that this is something where it's been lazy. A lot of money has been made in this market over the last few years. The breaking industry has really boomed. Now, of course, it's probably going to scale back pretty tremendously because Fanatics is really going to run that show and they're going to dictate who are our breakers and then who are kind of the secondary market breakers. They'll be on the outside. It's going to be a different world. But when I hear too, the National is going more corporate, I don't mind that. I like the fact that there's actually a lot of corporate interest in this particular hobby. I know a lot of people are not interested in that. I don't mind it. I don't mind business in general, businesses. But do I really want kind of all that corporate focus around sports betting and sports gambling? Not really. I don't know if that's really a good long-term game plan. There actually is a good video out. I'll put a link in the description. This was made maybe a year ago, but a guy basically, it's called The Dark Side of the Hobby. I think it has over 100,000 views. And the guy, was very, very honest about his experience. And he ended up getting into breaking and then ended up just getting out of it because he's like, you know what? I just don't feel good about this. Anyway, it's worth a watch. It's called The Dark Side of the Hobby or something to that effect. I will put it in the video description, just kind of, just as another view, another viewpoint, because this is the thing that just bothers me is there's so much excitement around the marketing. And look, I have kind of a marketing / finance background. I understand it and I get the excitement of it, but there should also be, especially with this kind of money and this type of risk, razzes, breaks, whatever, like there needs to just be a little bit more transparency on what we're doing, in my opinion. And I don't think that it should be the centerpiece of the hobby. I don't think that it should be that, okay, this is like, the largest booths at the National are focused around this. That's where I hope that we don't go. And I really hope that there's a little bit more responsibility around, just think about the people, that next generation of customers, if you will, coming up. And what are they learning from this? Are they understanding that it's just entertainment and that, hey, maybe I just need to put 10% of my overall card budget into this, not 90% or not credit cards or whatever, maxing out credit cards, because this stuff happens, I'm a big believer in personal responsibility. I'm a believer that we are in control of our own actions. No one's making us do these things. I'm a big believer in that. But I'm also a big believer in addiction. I know that it's a real thing, and gambling addiction is a big deal. So I think that just as an industry, it would be a lot more responsible if we really put a little bit more emphasis on that piece. Understand, that it's okay to disclose a little bit more information. It's okay to say, hey guys, I'm thinking about running this break, but let me just tell you, the box prices, very expensive. Odds of hitting this stuff, not great. Here's my price point. Here's kind of my upcharge. This is what I'm looking to make out of it. What do you guys think? Do you want to fill this break? And I know some people will say like, oh, you'll never fill a break like that. Well, then maybe it shouldn't be filled. Maybe it shouldn't be filled. If people are not really aware and it's just like, oh, 1 out of 5 packs gets me a LaMelo, blah, 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 whatever the hell. And then they're out, they blow that money and then they have nothing to do with the hobby anymore. And they're like, man, that's a scam. That is a straight scam. Maybe we should rethink that, think it through a little bit more, put a little bit more emphasis around it. So that's just it's my 2 cents on hopefully us, making the hobby better because look, we're in a kind of a transformative period. if there is a lot of big corporate money continuing to roll in and grow, and if you're really interested on a long-term plan, then I think that there just has to be some more thought put into this stuff, and not just be a fly by the seat of your pants and just kind of ignore the risks. And everyone gets to make up their own mind, and that is true. Personal responsibility overall, I totally agree. All I'm saying is can we please just put a little bit more thought into the way that we market certain things in this hobby? And you also have to keep in mind that if all the cool people, if all the influencers that have massive IG accounts, that have massive YouTube channels or whatever it is, if they're all pushing sports betting, sports gambling culture, is that a great thing overall? Just a thought. And look, maybe I'm totally wrong, and maybe this is a lot of fun, and I just need to be quiet and get off my lawn, old man, and that's totally fine. Maybe that is what it's supposed to be. But I know what we're going to hear down the line, and it's, oh, look at all this credit card debt, look at all this money that was lost, doing this. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I appreciate you. And for all of those that might think that I'm crazy, I get it. Look, this is just something that was on my mind. I have 4 kids, so this is stuff that I think about. And all in all, really just looking to see okay, as we're going through a transformative period, can we make some good moves on the front end so that we're not reacting to bad decisions down the road? Anyway, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.